Come out, Virginia, don't let me wait. You Catholic girls start much too late. Oh, but sooner or later it comes down to fate. I might as well be the one.
Hey everybody, welcome to Snappy Sundays with Darling Nikki. I'm your host Nikki, and this week's topic is, let's talk about sex, baby. No, seriously, we're talking about sex this week. Can't complain, right? I just want to mention that I'm actually making this on Saturday night, because tomorrow, Sunday, which is when you'll be viewing this, is Father's Day, so I'm going to be gone all day with my dad. So I wanted to post this tonight. With that said, I will mention that I'm a hot mess because we were at Pride all day today, which was a ton of fun, but I'm sunburned and tired, so I'm a little bit jumbled. But anyways, we're talking about sex, so I better just get it together. Happy Father's Day, if you're a father. That's awesome. It's Father's Day, so yay. Moving right along. I want to say, if you have any questions that you would like to ask any of the transcribers, you are more than welcome to private message us about this topic. We have all agreed that we're willing to answer any question in private message, but that there may be some things that we won't talk about in our videos. So if we don't touch on something and you have a question about it specifically, you may either just message the transcriber on their channel, or you can message the transcriber's FTM channel, and then we'll all get it and we can all respond, or you can address it to whomever you want to respond, or whatever. So you can do that if you have a question. Also, I want to mention quickly a little thank you to the transcribers for being so welcoming and open to this topic. I was a little bit nervous about us doing this topic because I was like, oh, is it too soon to, talk about this? But we're all like, no, let's do it. I mean, let's go for it. Sometimes it can be an issue for people and in their relationships, so I think they need to hear, how it is and what's going on and what we're doing, and just have a dialogue about it, and that's okay. So thank you to the transcribers for being so willing to bring us into your bedrooms. Alright, we have a bunch of questions we could contemplate. Then we were supposed to pick a few, so my thoughts are kind of jumbled, and I'll just go through and answer some of the questions and talk about some of my experiences, etc. Our first question was, what was different about your sex before the transition versus now? And I will say it was very different. Before Gabe started transitioning, we had what you might call like lesbian sex, okay? And now our sex is just not lesbian sex. We have like straight sex now. So I don't know how else to explain that. It's just not, like scissoring. We don't do that. So, and that's very important to both of us, that our sex not resemble lesbian sex. That's very important to both of us in our identities. So, do we use prosthetics, dildos, or anything else like that, or only his given parts? We do, but we don't call it a toy or dildo or anything. That is Gabe's cock, and we just call it that because it's not a toy. It's an extension of him, and we treat it like that. So yes, we do. And I have some resources that I will refer you to later on. That's one of the questions. How has sex changed since your partner's been on testosterone? Just the frequency. He wants to have sex more, so we have more sex. I think a lot of people whose boyfriends are on testosterone will say the same thing, I'm anticipating. Are you both fulfilled, and what do you contribute to that? Yeah, we are both fulfilled, and honestly, I think it's our communication that makes it that way. I think that without communication, we wouldn't be fulfilled. So I think that is why. How important is sex? I think sex in your relationship is very, very important. Not because I'm some crazy nympho, but here's why. Because if you're not having good sex with your partner, you or your partner are going to look for good sex somewhere else. That is a lot of the reason why people cheat on people. It's because they're not fulfilled in their sex life, so they're going to go find good sex somewhere else. So honestly, yes, good sex is important. But the next question I want to answer is, how important is the big O? And I don't think orgasm is very important. I think you can have good sex without having an orgasm. Now, do I think that one partner should have an orgasm every single time and the other one should never have an orgasm? No. There's a certain amount of reciprocity that needs to be there, but I am saying that the orgasm is not, the pinnacle, the end-all, be-all of sex. You can You can have great sex without having an orgasm. I'm sorry, that's how it is, in my opinion. Safe sex. Definitely want to talk about safe sex. A lot of people say, oh, you know, you're a girl, you're dating an FTM, safe sex, you don't need to use condoms, you don't need this or that. That's not true. You absolutely do. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Think about it this way. If Gabe's cock is in his pants all day and he's at work and he's whatever, going to work, coming home, doing this, doing that. I mean, he went to an equestrian farm on Friday for work. It's just like in his pants all day. And I'm sorry, but like, I want him to put a condom on for my safety. Okay, so is it because I think I'm going to get pregnant? No, obviously. But just for safety, you should be having safe sex every single time. No exceptions. So yes, I say safe sex no matter what anybody tells you. Listen to me, because I know. Okay, got it? Alright, next thing, resources. I definitely want to recommend babeland.com. That is where Gabe has got his pack and play, which is used for packing and playing. It's awesome. As well as a harness. And I'll post a link because they have a ton of excellent resources there. Another place that you might check out is just your local sex shop. I mean, just go in there sometime, explore, walk around. If you are unfamiliar with some of the things in there, just look at them. Don't be uncomfortable about it. Just read about it. Figure out what the things are, you know. So that's also a great resource if your local sex toy place, whatever. All right. Now, the question we all have to answer this week is, what advice do you have for trans men and their partners? And I have a few things. One, well, it's pretty much the same thing over and over again, but one is communicate. Communicate, communicate, communicate. I cannot say this enough. If you aren't comfortable talking about sex with your partner, then you probably shouldn't be having sex with your partner, okay? Communicate. Next, trans guys, you need to tell us what you're comfortable with and what you want and what you think feels good, or basically, you know, what you want to do, how you want to do it, because, you know, we don't know what you're going through. We don't know what it's like on your end. So if you don't tell us, then we're just guessing. So communicate to your partner what you want and what you need, and what you're comfortable with. That's so, so, so important. And as for the significant others, be open-minded, loving, accepting, and be willing to try new things, okay? If your sex life is boring, it's your own damn fault, okay? There's no reason for your sex life to be boring. You need to just be totally open and willing to communicate and just open yourself up to it, and it's spectacular, okay? So that's my advice on that. I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to address. Let me check back at the questions. Are you spontaneous? No. No, we're not spontaneous. No, we've been together for 3 years. We're at the point where we get in bed and we're like, are we having sex tonight? I mean, it's fine, but no, we're not spontaneous. Not really. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to answer right now for time's sake. But there were a lot of other questions we had. So if you hear another transcriber answer a question that you want to hear me answer, send me a message. I will answer that. So yeah, that's my video on sex for week 3. Thank you for viewing. Please check out all the other transcribers' videos for this week because I cannot wait to hear what they're going to say. I'm sure it's going to be so interesting. So I'll catch you all next week for another edition of Snappy Sundays with Darling Nikki.